No, can Corby lay in between me? Corby lays in between me, and I'm like, you're fucking dying on me, man! Hello and welcome back to your favorite show for all things gaming and rarely tech related, Gentoo. I'm Jonas Pilat.
And I'm Gabe Chadwick. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Gentoo. We got a great episode coming up, so let's jump right into this week's big releases.
Gearbox and Hopo Games have set a release date of November 8th for two exciting titles, Risk of Rain Returns and the Risk of Rain 2 DLC, Survivors of the Void. Risk of Rain Returns is a ground-up remake of the original game featuring enhanced visuals and new music. The game introduces a new survivor named Pilot, known for his high mobility and context-sensitive abilities, including cluster fire and a triple burst shot capable of dealing with groups of enemies.
On the other hand, Risk of Rain 2 Survivors of the Void is the first DLC expansion for Risk of Rain 2. It introduces two new survivors, Railgunner and Void Fiend, and adds a Simulacrum game mode as well as extra environments, items, and more for console players. Additionally, the core game has received updates to ensure faster bug fixes, improved performance, and continued content updates. Again, both of these come out on November 8th, so make sure to check those out if you are a fan of the series.
We need to roll under the radar to get this done.
Let's make sure they don't see the sunrise.
Call of Duty is back with a fresh campaign, revamped classic multiplayer maps, and an expansive open-world PvE zombies experience. The campaign continues the story from Modern Warfare 2, where Captain Price and Task Force 141 will face off against ultra-nationalist war criminal Vladimir Makarov as he extends his grasp across the world. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 releases on November 10th on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation.
And that's all we have for this week's news. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to never miss an episode.
Now, let's see what's up this week from Stories from a Foxhole.
Here we bring you news from the West. In the great naval race, the Water Navy, after 2 long and arduous days, has finally broken colonial stronghold on Silver Island, and has wiped out all resistance, and is what is now considered the bloodiest battle in the war, with bloodshed on both sides, but is now considered a great breakthrough in the Warden's war plan.
The entire server should load it. So 1, 2, 3. Mamonito, Rashito! Mamono Rashito! Oh, shit. Oh. It's a massacre.
The fighting this past few weeks has been getting even more intense. We're getting bogged down around Faramore, and so Warden High Command has issued a new order.
You want a gunner, man?
Our orders were to push southeast through an area called the Drowned Vale. The first real fighting we hit heading southeast was an area called the Wash. Here in the Wash, the Colonials had quickly erected fortifications to slow us down, and they were working. We were getting bogged down in the trenches, and the supply lines were starting to slow down as well. Supplies were getting harder to come by. A new naval warfare had kicked off, so the best of the best supplies were being sent to them first, leaving us a little short-handed, but we were making do with what we could. We were left to just scrounge for supplies, use what we could, but there wasn't much left. We were running out of ammo and guns were getting scarce as well. Luckily, the one thing we hadn't run short on was medical supplies, and I can thank God every day for that. I was also starting to see a lot of fresh recruits, not even privates at this point, getting kicked straight out of boot camp straight to us. What these recruits lacked in experience made up for in spirit. I've never seen braver men than these, charging straight into machine gun fire, not even thinking twice. Unfortunately, bravery doesn't keep you bulletproof, and we lost a lot of good men that way. But as they always say, war's hell. But war has its silver linings. Ran into a man that I had served with before.
I think I helped. I might have been with you. Yeah, way out on Fisherman's, bro.
Hey, move.
Such a big war, it was nice to see a familiar face. But war doesn't give you time to sit around and chit-chat, so we could only say a passing hello before the war just ripped us apart once again. we resorted to small infantry tactics. And what that means is just rush a trench with grenades and do the best you can. Not every man made it to the next trench, but that was a sacrifice that we had to make. Once you got there, you had to keep your head down and stay sharp. Pop your head up in the same place twice,
Keep your head
likely
down.
to be taken off. The fighting here in the wash was starting to bog us down, and so we were going to have to wait for more supplies. But that didn't stop us from pushing even harder. Until those supplies got here, we were going to throw everything we had at those collies. This has been Stories from the Foxhole. Make sure to tune in next week.
You're not gonna die on me, Corby. You ready? Yep. Clear. All right, you can go do your pack, but you gotta come right back here, man. Yeah, we didn't get the bullet out.
Previously on Corby's Content Corner.
I guess you could say it was a good ending after.
Oh my gosh, is he dead? Where did that even come from? Call an ambulance! Now on Corby's Content Corner.
Can someone revive me? Whew, that was a close one. I thought I was a goner there. Yes, I'm wearing different clothes. I don't care about continuity. Welcome back to Corby's Content Corner. I'm Corby, and finally, spooky season is over. I can stop talking about horror games now. Anyways, what shooter game have you been playing recently? Oh, really? Yeah, that sucks. I want to tell you about a shooting game that I've just been exposed to. And no, I'm not going to say a Call of Duty title, or dare I say, Overwatch. Yuck. But before I tell you, let's take a step back real quick. Back in the day, I was a console boy all my life. I stuck playing with Xbox and never wanted to turn to the dark side of PC. Well, eventually the voices won, and now here I am playing all sorts of games I never thought possible on my gaming PC. One game I have always seen on the internet but never considered playing was CSGO or Counter-Strike. I understood that it has had a strong community for years as well as a well-known esports league behind it. I was afraid to join the game this late, but what the heck. I downloaded it to give it a try. And oh my gosh, it is so fun. Turns out it isn't just background gameplay to watch while Fitz makes controversial jokes with his friends. Unlike in a similar game, Valorant, I don't feel like I have to learn 20 different characters and their unique abilities and metas for every different map. Because in CSGO, everyone is the same. The only difference is between the two teams, terrorist and counter-terrorist, they both have a few different weapons from each other. But I don't feel like I'm jumping into Rainbow Six Siege again, where I have so many new things to learn on top of an already difficult skill floor. CSGO allows for a more simplistic style of gameplay, which makes the game easy to pick up and get into, but still with lots of things to learn. Like, I know there are all kinds of different strategies and lineups in the maps for things like weapon peaks and tactical equipment throws, as well as weapon accuracy to improve on, and what situations to best use guns in. With a variety of game modes like fun casual matches, heart-racing competitive matches, intense intimate 2v2 wingman duels, and even just shooting everything that moves in a deathmatch free-for-all. This game allows a place for every player to have fun. Like, I've only played this game for over 9 hours, and I've already bought Prime so I could get rewards and climb the ranks. I have a feeling this is going to be the beginning of a long gaming addiction. Heck, I can't wait to start gambling and buy lots and lots of cases until I pull a super cool knife. Let's go. No! Oh yeah! I'm sure it's gonna be great.
Running since 1971, broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Featuring programs and news from National Public Radio, as well as Americana, jazz, and classical music. KXCV 90.5 FM Maryville, KNRW 88.9 FM Chillicothe.
Make sure you tune into Bearcat Update this week, as we've got a lot to cover, including football's dominant win in Oklahoma, the finale for the soccer team, and then we'll sit down and catch up with star running back Jay Harris. Make sure you check it out.
My name is Gabriel Lozano, and welcome back to Audio Odyssey, a show where we go over some of the best video game soundtracks and what makes them so great. This week, we're going to take a look at Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is one of those games where I could just close my eyes and listen to the music for hours. The calm, slow, and peaceful songs were written by no other than Eric Barone, or also known as Concerned Ape. And not only did Barone write all of the music for this game, but he literally made the entire game of Stardew Valley. He wrote the music, coded the entire game, made every character, and designed every small detail there is to discover. And when it comes to the music, Barone did an amazing job at creating an atmosphere and overall vibe to this game. Surprisingly, before composing the music for Stardew Valley, Barone didn't work on any big musical projects or have any type of formal musical training in the past, which makes Stardew Valley's soundtrack with over 70 songs even more impressive than it already is. The songs in the soundtrack use many of the instruments we can hear in today's country music, like guitar, drums, piano, and the banjo, but there's also woodwinds, marimbas, synths, and many more instruments to make Stardew Valley's music really stand out. The music of this game is on rotation through the seasons, just like the crops you're planting as you play through the game. If you've never played Stardew Valley before, the game is split up into the 4 seasons, and depending on what season you're in will affect what crops you can plant, and like I said before, it also changes the music. When writing the music for this game, Barone wanted each season to have a specific feel, so he wrote music that will only play within its specific season. When listening to the songs of a specific season, you can instantly tell a difference in the overall vibe to the music, and I think Barone did a great job of making each season feel unique, but they still sound like they're part of the same album and belong in the same game. If you listen closely, you'll hear certain themes and instruments only being used in their respective season. As you progress through the game, your gameplay will change and also the overall vibe to the game, and this is all thanks to the music. This really helps keep the game fresh and constantly feeling new. If it's from the percussive and upbeat nature of spring, or the slow, calming music of winter, the music always feels like it fits in Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is an amazing game with an amazing soundtrack put together by only one person, and it really goes to show with a lot of hard work and dedication, you can really do anything you put your mind to. So next time you're working on your farm, trying to catch the biggest fish in the sea, or exploring that creepy mine, think about Stardew Valley's music and how great it really is. And that was another episode of Audio Odyssey. Be sure to let me know what your favorite soundtrack is down in the comments, and I hope to see everyone back here on Gentoo next week.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Mental State, the show where we dive into the psychological side of classic video game characters. This week, we'll be taking a look at One Shot, a game deeply rooted in empathy and acceptance. Without further ado, let us dive in. The world of One Shot is one on the brink of death. Our main character, Nico, is thrust into this world, being given its new sun. They soon find that their mission is to deliver this sun to the top of a tower, under the guidance of the player, God. Doing so will give a new chance at life to all of the citizens. This hope is shown in different ways between characters, with some thinking it best to let the world die, some living in the moment, and others optimistic for the future. In meeting these individuals, Nico and the player begin to see the extent to which this world has decayed. Islands are crumbling, power is limited, and rampant pixelation has claimed both land and people. Nico shows a deep level of care for these individuals, asking the player character for guidance on how to help them further. A dilemma arises, however, upon reaching the tower. The game itself tells the player that you can either send Nico home, or save the people of this world. This thought is mulled over by the player through the tower, thinking back on Nico's dreams of home and the dreary lives the citizens lead. Upon reaching the top, the player is given the option to either shatter the sun, sending Nico home, or place the bulb in the tower, restarting this world. Both of these options end with a credit sequence, and the game closing. Taking a step back for a second, the player base for this game loved it so much that the developers made a third ending. This involves Nico waking back up, having memories of the player. They then travel the world on a different route, heading towards the capital to fix the game as an entity. Nico soon finds that the world itself is a simulation, initially taking them out of the events happening. Even knowing this, however, Nico still shows deep care towards the people of this world, all the way up to the game itself. In giving faith towards the game, helping it realize its sentience, only then do both endings happen. Empathy is a person's ability to understand another at a one-on-one level, helping them through issues and listening to their problems. The way that One Shot goes about showing empathy is outstanding. Each location highlights the world's societal structure, from the robots left in the Barrens, to the people losing their homes in the Glen. This game lets the player know that the world is living and in need of hope. Nico's story runs parallel to this, highlighting the fear and care in their mind. Their want to just go home, and their want to help others run right up to the end, with either choice being made more painful. Thank you for coming into my office. I have once again been Dr. Snotterly. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week for our 9th session.
First surgery. Yeah. I'm pretty excited, I know. I'm kind of giddy, but
Yeah.
shouldn't we be wearing gloves?
No, I think we're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you can hand me the scalpel?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Whoa, nasty. Ugh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, kind of grody, but
Yeah.
okay, let's just.
Hey, by the way, when'd you finish your residency, man?
I never did. I thought you did.
No, I thought you were the doctor. I still got another like 2 or 3 rotations, man.
Me too. Wait.
Wait, no, I
Wait,
thought.
what? No, that's.
Hey, how are we supposed to?
Dude, really?
Maybe we should be
We had this guy
having
cut open right next to
Yes.
us.
Gabe,
Where'd
the
he go?
body go? Uh-oh.
Hello and welcome back to Dark and Dumber. I'm your host Evan, and today we're going to do a deep dive over one of my favorite characters in the game right now. That character being Bard, because nothing beats jamming out in the dungeon. Having the buffs and debuffs that Bard can apply with his music can change the outcome of team fights, being able to swing the tides during the fight if you play at the right time. Run 1 is a great start to show how effective Bard can be against regular mobs. Spawning in the mummy room, usually it takes a while to clear all the mummies, but by using Shriek of Weakness, I can debuff all the mummies in the area after waking them. With this debuff, it makes it incredibly easy to clear this room. Just one example of why Bard is so freaking awesome. But no matter how great you or your character is, the dungeon will always find a way. Getting caught by surprise, we have to run room to room, running into more and more deadly creatures and players. Our only hope is to keep going. Finally making a small safe room, we gather ourselves here. We see another great song from Bard called Tranquility. This song buffs your natural healing while sitting down, making it easier to get up and keep going. And keep going we did. Still gotta find some blue portals and get out. Getting stuck between a full party of players and a trapped room, we decide to brave the trapped room. My cleric made it through fully in front of me, but I just fell short of the door by a trap and died. Believe it or not, Bard used to be even more powerful than he is now. At the current meta, Bard isn't insanely overpowered, and he feels great to play. Having spell slots for his songs now means that you can't bring in as many as you want, but if you want to bring in more, then no problem. You just have to make a build around a will and knowledge to be able to bring in more songs. More songs also means more buffs. Currently with my character, I'm able to cast Shield, debuff enemy armor, heal, unlock chest, and buff my overall stats and my teammates, making me and my party monsters if the other team lets me play all my songs, which most people do for some reason. This still doesn't compare to old Bard though. His shield spell used to give him more than double the protection it does now and healed party members passively with Tranquility without having to sit down, meaning you could heal mid-fight, making Bard an absolute necessity in any party comp. Although Bard isn't as crazy as it used to be, he is still incredibly useful in just any run and is really fun to play. His versatility is also nice, being able to substitute for other roles like Cleric with his music. He is also great for zoning enemy parties because the more music you play, the more scared they'll be and less willing to approach you. All of us are starting to gather pretty nice sets during this wipe, so we can clear rooms so much faster. Getting lucky with spawns and the circle, we are able to take our time clearing and looting this room, fighting both the Wraith and Skeleton Champion. Staying a little too long, we hear another party coming. We move to rotate to get a flank. Coming back around with the circle, we end up in the same room. Holding back at the stairs, we get our portals open and get our way out. Hope I made you think about how amazing Bard is and why you should play him. See you next time. Peace out.
man, I gotta go. Alrighty. Hey, where do you go every Saturday?
Oh, I go film my show. You know, the show I host with KNWT, where we, do something new with a guest from around campus each week. It kind of pertains to their job or activities that they do.
Yeah, sorry, man, I don't get it.
I don't know, man. It's loosely related.
Hey, welcome back to Loosely Related. I'm your host, Jackson Weddle, and this week...
Welcome back to Mustard's Madness, where this week we have playoff basketball. We finished as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference and will take on the number 8 seeded Memphis Grizzlies. We have to be on upset alert as the only reason this team is ranked so low is due to injuries. They were able to steal Game 1 away from us, so we had to come out firing on all cylinders Game 2. One of the best ways to help my team is by playing great defense. I was able to reject Dylan Brooks and Tyus Jones at the rim where they tried to get by me. The block on Jones led to a fast break and an easy assist as we pushed the ball up court. Offensive rebounding also helped and led to this reload 3, which finds the bottom of the net. This led to a quick barrage of 3-pointers in the second half, putting us up big. With the last second layup, we take Game 2 as I drop 50 points in response to the Game 1 loss. They won Game 3 120 to 143, taking a 2-1 lead on the series. We started off hot in Game 4, scoring all 11 of the team's first points, but that was short-lived as their defense was overpowering and we drop another game, putting us in a deep hole down 3-1. Every game is a must-win at this point, and nothing gets the crowd going like some high-flying dunks. Triple J is a really good defender, but for some reason he wasn't in the paint much this game, which allowed for some easy baskets. Desmond Bain tried to guard us, but the upgrades to ball handling are already paying off as we get our first ankle breaker, almost making him touch the ground while we drain the 3, completing the highlight play. After another 3, we get this emphatic fast break dunk, extending the lead and ultimately helping to win the game. To start Game 6, we take it right at the former Defensive Player of the Year and throw it down over him. This one was out of hand early as we took another game on their court, extending the series to the best words in basketball, Game 7. In Game 7, we didn't get much help, as after scoring the team's first 11 points again, I tried passing the ball, but shots just weren't dropping for our team. We built up a small lead, but after I got subbed out, they were in the lead again. Down by 4, this 3 helps cut the lead to just 1 and keeps us neck and neck with the Grizzlies. In the fourth quarter, we have a small lead, but I keep finding myself wide open, and the team trusts me to take these in the clutch moments, which leads to 9 straight points, keeping them out of arm's reach. The final horn sounds, and we were able to complete the comeback, winning 65-56.
Congratulations on winning your first playoff series. So, does this mean you've accomplished your goals for the season?
Absolutely not. I mean, this right here is just the beginning. We're gonna go back and enjoy this one, I can tell you that.
And enjoy it we will. After the series, we had some extra VC to spend, and while we were able to get 1 ankle breaker, I still felt a little slow when dribbling the ball. Therefore, put some upgrades into speed with ball, speed, and acceleration, which will hopefully help us out in the next series. Make sure to tune in next week to find out who our second round matchup is and join us on the journey through the playoffs.
Gabe, we got another one. Clear. Hey, buddy. Hey, are you Corby?
No, I'm the Cyberpunk guy. I hopefully spawned a couple more virtual photographers with last week's episode. V's photogenic, and they know it. Just look at that face. But it only seems appropriate you learn who the person is you're taking pictures of. V's got some history, both in the game and in the actual Cyberpunk community itself. Who is V? Why do they matter so much to this series? Well, simply put, V is just precious.
Just like that. No pushback.
V is the main character of the story. a mercenary in Night City with a rockstar anarchist in her head. V's origins are actually up to you. A nomad, basically a country kid, a street kid, a native of Night City itself, and a court, where she was employed and fired by Arasaka at the beginning of the game. No matter which backstory you choose, it's left ambiguous enough for the player to come up with their own story for V if they get invested enough. She's one of the few characters that has a nice balance between a protagonist who's pre-existed already and a custom self-insert for the player. V is just as witty and funny as she is angsty and tragic. One moment, she can go on a tangent of insults like it's second nature,
and the next you're pausing the game because you just can't take hearing the distress in her voice.
I tell you, those moments where the relic in her head flares up are really hard to watch sometimes. Especially later in the game, if your relationship with Johnny is good and favorable. Speaking of V and Johnny, their development is beautiful to watch. You see the two start off at each other's throats. Johnny's just a parasite in V's head, and Johnny just wants to use V for his idealist bidding. But the more you and Johnny experience, the more you can have V and Johnny open up to each other. Some being V revealing fears, and Johnny sharing war veteran stories, which by the end of the game will leave you torn between the two. But to those who are pretty well versed in the cyberpunk universe, V is a symbol of what this entire universe is about. Engraving your name in the world so it never forgets you. Mild spoilers, there are endings where V can live and die. But admittedly, the endings where V lives are almost worse than the ones where she doesn't. She goes quietly into the night, unremembered and forgot. V as a character has a dream, to be remembered for going out with a bang. That right there is what this game and her story are about. The cost of that. And was it all worth it in the end? To become a living legend of the city at the cost of you and Johnny and your friends' lives?
It's the way of things.
Am I worth their sacrifice?
V's story should be done with this game. The way the game writes her off seems like the character will just be an urban legend within the universe if she ever shows up again. So what's next for the series? I'll scrounge up some details and see what I can come back up with next week. But we have a few theories. Catch that next week on Cyberpunk. Stay Nova, Tune.
Hello, and welcome back to I'm Not a Loser, where I show you how to be as good at video games as I am. When it comes to games of any kind, I'm just a natural. But today, we're playing one of the most death-defying games I've ever played, Hades. When it comes to Hades, you can call me Percy Jackson. In Hades, you play as the son of Hades himself, Zagreus. Your goal is to escape the hellscape that is Hades. Now me, I'm what you would call an escape artist. I can easily climb to the top with little to no effort. The climb to the gates of hell is not an easy one when playing Hades. You have to defeat a boss every level that guards the gates to the next. These bosses primarily stay the same, but always evolve, leading to endless variety for each boss. In Hades, you can maintain the connection of your head to your body in one primary way, that being boons from the gods of Olympus. The gods of Olympus want to help you escape, and they do this by giving you boons, which give you unique ability that each god possesses. This leads to unique build types that will help you throughout the game. These builds also work perfectly with certain weapons in the game, which can work to help make your experience a little bit easier. These boons range from lightning bolts attacking multiple enemies at a time, to your attack knocking enemies away. Finally, as previously mentioned, one of the most important part of Hades is by far the weaponry that the Lord of Hell gives you in your attempt to escape. This ranges from a machine gun to your standard sword, which gives you different ways to tackle the same issue of escaping. Just make sure to stay calm with your weapons. Hades will throw everything he has at you, so be careful. And I mean, staying calm under pressure is kinda my middle name, so you don't gotta worry about me. Your weapon is the most powerful tool in your arsenal, so make sure to stay calm and take advantage of the aforementioned boons to get the best use out of your weapon. Hopefully, these tips and tricks make your Sunday stroll through Hades a bit easier. Remember, even though I'm the world's best escape artist, it doesn't mean you have to be. When playing Hades, it is important to notice that failure will always lead to success. But get going. You have the underworld you need to escape from.
Again.
And that's all the time we have for this week on Gentoo.
Make sure to tune in next week, the last regular episode of the season. Oh.
Where were you at?
Oh, I had to go to the bathroom.
Makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. We didn't even like sew you up, dude.
Are you okay? Yeah.
It's
kind of like. Oh, yeah,
isn't a bullet in his head? Why are we cutting down here?
I have no idea.
Here. Yeah. Now, don't move. We don't have anything to hold you in place, but you gotta promise not to twitch. All right.
I won't move. It's fine. Oh god.
What were you about to hit him with? You do not need a degree, man. You need to leave. Welcome back to Gentoo Hospital.
This looks awkward.
Hi, Blake.
I'm telling you to get the hell out of here. I figured. But you think I'm not just gonna walk in here when I see you wearing it? All right.
Bye, Blake.
No, dude, we defibrillate him, right? And then we're like, we defibrillate him and bring him back, and we're like, are you Corby? And he's like, nah. And I'm like, okay.
You go, sorry, my bad.